You're listening to Conversations in Bed with me, Joleene DeRosier.
And me, Ken Case.
This is the freshest, funnest, most fantastical podcast out there that supports healthy, polarized relationships that takes place right in our bed. Don't go anywhere. We're about to give you the goods on love, life, and leaning into truly powerful relationships right now. Welcome back to Conversations in Bed, everybody. As always, we're so grateful that you've joined us. I'm Joleene DeRosier.
And I'm Ken Case.
And we are not in our normal spot at all.
Not at all.
Where are we?
We are at Indian Lake up in the Adirondacks.
At Chimney Mountain.
Chimney Mountain, yes.
And we're going to dig into what this is. See, one of the fun things about Conversations in Bed is we don't want to have the same conversation in the same bed all the time. So we are at what is known as a vacation rental and resort center on Indian Lake in Chimney Mountain in the Adirondack Mountains in northern New York. You are going to see video, I'm putting it up right now over my voice, of what this space looks like. And it's owned by Timothy and Davanna Marks. And when you see this space, we died and went to heaven when we came here. One, because we want to be here.
Blood pressure drops.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Beautiful sky at night, the whole 9 yards. But we're going to introduce you to Davanna Marks. She is co-owner of this particular retreat center, which I want to keep calling it because I'd love to have a retreat actually happen here, and talk about how she works with her husband to make this business work. Mm-hmm. And this is going to be a very poignant conversation because you and I are building.
We are, yeah. And we're in the baby steps, yeah. Yep. So this is great. This is great. And just from the little bit that we talked last night, this is going to be very good. Very informative, yeah.
I'm super excited. Yeah. So before we bring her in, I have a question for you. We always start the podcast with an unknown question so we could take each other off guard. And my question to you is, when it comes to intentional living, what is something you like to put into practice so you live your best life?
Well, from starting on this journey and really trying to get into the whole process that I've been going through and we have been going through, but separately in the beginning, we didn't even know each other. I like to put into practice, it is really just studying and learning about manifestation, right? And the law of attraction and learning about, the law of attraction. Everybody talks about the law of attraction. And one thing that I've learned is the law of attraction is actually the secondary law. The primary law is actually the law of vibration. Right. And so learning about the law of vibration and amplitude and really, keying into frequencies and just being able to change the frequency of the radio. If something's going on that I don't like, I change that frequency and change the channel on the radio, and I can then listen to what I want to listen to and get that higher vibration going to attract. And yeah, so I guess that's part of it. That's kind of that's a big spoonful, huh?
You're going to love the conversation with her then, because one of the things she's going to talk about is how she and her husband use the law of attraction journal as part of running their business so they have absolute clarity. And that's one of the pieces I'm super excited about digging into.
Right. Yeah. And back at you.
Me.
Same question.
Oh my gosh, there's so much. There is so much. I think for me right now, it's living with ease and flow. So being soft and allowing. Surrendering. Mm-hmm. And it's not always easy, especially when we're setting up for this. I am an anxious person with an anxious heart, but allowing, no matter what happens, it's meant to happen. It's part of whatever is about to unfold, and somehow it's going to serve me even if I don't like it. So I've been really focusing and practicing on that. Yeah.
Excellent.
Now, normally I would ask you what's in your mug, but our lovely guest, not only is she running Chimney Mountain with her husband, they're getting coffee made, and we get to taste the prototype. So, Davanna, you got to come in here with your coffee.
I will come in. And you hold my cup.
I got your mug.
So excited.
I'm excited for you. You are
Thank
our first.
you.
This is our first human threesome.
I'm so excited to be physically present here with you.
And I'm super stoked to have you here and that you agreed to this, because, I mean, how uncomfortable is it to sit in between?
I don't know. You guys are pretty easygoing, so I'm feeling pretty comfortable.
Awesome. Well, I usually ask Ken what is in his mug, and then he talks to us about the coffee, but this is special because what is in your mug, Davanna?
Yeah, I'm so excited. I've always loved coffee, and one of the things that we want to provide to our guests when they come in is Chimney Mountain branded coffee. So I've been exploring how to do that locally, and there is a local manufacturing facility called Chris's Coffee in Albany, and they actually bring in different beans. They roast them, they grind them, they pack them, they label them, and they do a little design. And so I went there for a tour. And I was able to say, you know, I want coffee that is bold and smooth, but tastes like nature a little bit. So we tried to figure out what that actually means. And I think we've done it. So this is the prototype. And I'd love, Ken, what do you think of it?
I love this. What you just described is exactly what this is. It tastes like nature. It's bold and it's smooth. It really, really is. There's no aftertaste. I can't wait to get another cup.
Awesome. And one of the things we wanted to do is it energizes you in the morning to go explore and go climb a mountain and go cave diving and go in King's Flow Lake. So excited about it.
That's fantastic. So what are the notes and flavors that are found in here?
Well, the things that I was describing are like a mushroom, a coffee, maybe a little mud flavor to make it fun. But I really like how it's smooth, and I would say it's a little mushroomy. It doesn't have the fruit notes. It's not that type of coffee.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Ken, we're on to something. Going into different beds and drinking different coffees.
Drinking different coffees. Yeah. What more could you ask for?
I mean, definitely on to something. Well, we want to hear more about you because the thing that intrigued me about Chimney Mountain, you have 9 cabins here. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about what it was before you and your husband bought the property.
Yeah, so when we came here for the first time, the family, their name is the Betts, they owned it for 40 years, and they ran it similar to how it is now. So we tried to keep the character and a lot of things the same, but they also were heavy hunters, so they leaned into hunting season. They would bring their family up here. The cabin that we're staying in right now was actually the brother's cabin, so this was a home that he lived in when he came up here, and the house that we live in, it was the owner that we bought it from. So what we've done so far to change things up is we just, modernized the website. So you don't have to just call and send in a check and, hope you have a reservation. You can reserve online, pay online. We've updated all the photos. We've made it available on Airbnb for people that like to use that platform. We've added Wi-Fi. You can have pets here now. So that's been amazing. People love to bring their pets.
Oh, yeah.
We also provide linens if you want that as part of your package. And then just little updates, like we're converting the garage down by the cabins into a camp store, which I'm so excited about.
We peeked into it. So It wasn't a store before.
No, it was a garage, and we've done all these different phases of construction to get it where it is today. And we'll be opening it this summer. And we have, the T-shirts, and we have this wonderful man that is a woodworker now. He used to be a dentist, and his great-grandfather owned the place at one point.
Oh, really?
So he actually made us wood bowls, and we have, our logo on them. So there's just cool things popping up that people locally, are crafting, and we're like, okay, we'll throw that in our store, and it just makes for that fun component when you come here. And then the other thing I want to do in there is do a history wall of the property. So that people can go and explore and learn a little bit about the families that previously owned it, what it used to be, and then see what it is now. So
when you and I were talking last night, you were coming in to put these linens on the bed for us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
I asked you what it was like to run a business with your spouse. And as you know, Conversations in Bed, we center a lot of the conversations around the masculine and feminine energy dynamics, spiritual practices, intentional living. This is why you're so perfect for this. What is it like running this with Tim? You've been married for 11 years.
Yeah.
This is a new venture. How do you decide who does what?
Yeah. First of all, I think it's amazing. Every day I get to be closer with my husband because we learn something new about each other for every day in this experience. Because there's always something popping up, a problem to solve, or, a new guest that we're talking to, and hearing each other and feeding off each other is just a way to learn more about who we are separately, right? And then who we are together. And then the second part of it is we really, how we decide roles and responsibilities is what I call, it's based on our domain of expertise, which I think it's what are you good at? What are you interested in? And how do you stay in that space? And I stay in the space that I'm good at and I'm interested in. And I'll just give you a couple examples. My husband's really great at constructing and building and, maintaining the property. And he also does the hunting and the fishing, and he likes to do tours with the guests for the property. And I like the business side of things. So I'm the finances, the strategy, the marketing, that type of thing. And I like to be creative. So I'm exploring some decor options and some themes. And
I love it.
Yeah. So that's where we try to not, interfere with the domain of expertise with the other person. And I think that works really well.
It's interesting how you talk about your domain of expertise, and a question that I would have coming from a band's point of view, it sounds like with your communication, everything is ideally how this has to work out. Was there any issue in the beginning or whatever with him kind of giving up a little bit of letting you do your domain of expertise? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In trying to handle, because that's how we're brought up, right? We're supposed to handle everything, and being able to relinquish that.
Yeah. So I think, first of all, it is the ideal way, but it's not always like that, right? I would say we get it right 80% of the time, not 100% of the time, but I shoot for 100% of the time. So I would say early on there's disagreements, because if we're in somebody else's space and you're feeling a little irritated about that, it's like, oh, hey, get out of here. What are you doing? And just being open to conversate about that. But what I would say is I have a lot of masculine energy, I think. So I think I had more challenge with it than he did. And he's so patient with me. And so I think, when I step over the line, he gives me the, you're over that line, get back there. And so I think it's just having that conversation, but being willing to detach. And I think the conversations about communication and talking through, hey, this scenario just happened. What went well, what did not go well? Why did you get angry in that moment? Why were you upset in that moment? It allows you to detach. So then you don't take it personally, and then you can be open to the feedback, from your partner. So I think that was really important through the journey. And we're still on that journey. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Every day. Yeah.
Sure. We had the pleasure of meeting him last night, and exactly what you said about him being calm and everything. I can see him. I've known him for 5 minutes, right? But he seems like a gentle giant. He seems like such a kind and giving man. And if I have to walk around the property and a bear comes up, I want him with me.
Exactly. I listened to this podcast, and he talks about being a monster, but having it be controlled. And that's exactly how I describe my husband. So when he has to be strong and bold and aggressive, he can be. But the rest of the time, it's controlled and measured and calm. And I just love that.
Yeah. Excellent.
Mine is also like that. He's very patient, which is helpful, because I think we are twins in the fact that I also exist in my masculine energy, want to exist more in my feminine. But to be fair, when it comes to businesses and when it comes to a woman running a business, it's not wrong to be in that energy, provided it's not unhealthy, provided it doesn't become controlling, manipulative, ego-driven, hangry. And when we were talking last night, I said, well, what is it that you do? How do you let go? Is it easy for you to let go?
Yeah.
Is it?
I would say it's become easy for me to let go throughout my journey, but not in the beginning. I think I was telling you last night when I first started, I wanted to control what was going on in my work life, in the business, in the family life, and even the way that the towels were folded was a big deal for me. And I started to realize once I had this idea in my head, okay, you can achieve anything that you want to achieve, but, stepping into the law of attraction and really doing that self-discovery and exploring, okay, if I want to achieve big things, I need to let the little things that matter go. And, reading some books about, okay, why do you care about the towel? If the laundry is done and it's folded and it's put away, what does it matter how it's folded? And I'm like, yes, that makes so much more sense. So that started my journey of thinking about little things like that why do I care about that? Why does it matter? Does it help me achieve my goal, get to where I want to be in this journey? And I think that that's helped a ton. And I think it also takes a lot of pressure off of my husband because I was trying to push that perfection in every way. And now it's just, it's so much better. I feel so much better about the direction and not having to worry about those little things all the time.
So he's softening you.
Yes.
By,
Absolutely.
By hearing you when you say the perfection, that's the wounded masculine. I can totally relate to that. And when you allow him to step up and have those moments, I don't know what it feels like to you. Have you felt an experience of feeling soft and letting go and being in that feminine space?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like in that moment, I feel almost like a little to be intimate with him in certain ways. Like, okay, I just need you to hug me, or I just need you to, and that feels really good too.
Awesome. So that's amazing. Yeah. So I want to talk about this journal because I can see it right here. Can you lean forward and get that, or?
Yeah,
oh, sure.
Luke, you got it. Ken's got.
I think so.
The coffee.
Let me try.
You're very handy, Ken. I love it. There we go.
Yeah.
So this is wow.
Yeah.
There's some, turn this over. I mean, no one's going to see what you're writing.
So I have.
Oh, that's beautiful.
This is the Law of Attraction Planner. And this is my 2023 one. But I have 5 years worth of them. And I'm converting everything over to my 2024 now. And we just had a retreat all about the Law of Attraction. So I was able to start transitioning some of the things over to my new book. But this is really a book that's been a lifesaver for me, a game changer for me. It's really, it's based on the Law of Attraction, and I wrote a little note in one of my books.
Where did you get this? I must have one.
So it's available online, but one of the women that I met that is absolutely wonderful, her name is Lisa Sears. She's been mentoring with me on Sundays for the last 5 years after we connected. And one of our first meetings, she gave me one of these books. She had one in her trunk. And she's like, I think this would help you. Because I was like, she had been doing coaching. And so I approached her and I said, what is it like to have a coach? And what does that mean? Because I've recently, had in my mind this goal of achieving excellence in my life. And I'm trying to define what that actually means for me. And so she gave me this book. It took me about 6 months to get through the first section of the book, which is asking you all about what are your top achievements in life? What do people admire about you the most? How do you want to be remembered when you are gone? How do you want to grow? Where are you going? Where are you now? So those are deep, deep questions to answer. But it's all about self-discovery. And then, I think once you make it through your self-discovery process, you become so much more confident in who you are. And then your ability to subdue your ego is so much easier because you have that underlying confidence and you know what's most important to you. And then it also, there's goal setting. So this is your top 50 life goals and harmony on all levels. So you have levels of your life that are health and family and money and fun and recreation and career and business, relationships, personal growth, spiritual. How do you want all of those to show up in your life? And how do you balance it so that you have harmony at all those levels? You talk about vibration. Well, in here, there's a section where you can actually monitor your emotional vibration. So you start to learn about, as you build your routine, and you start to learn about how do I feel at certain times of the day? When am I most effective? When am I most productive? When can I be open to a conversation with my husband where I'm not going to get irritated or have my ego get spiked there? So I absolutely love this. I've been using it for 5 years. One of the reasons why we bought this place is I wrote it in the book and we were intentional about it. And we talked about what a life would be like. And we really visualized ourselves here. And then there's, sections in the day-to-day or monthly calendar that you can take notes and you can write about what those goals are and then track them on a regular basis and just check in and do your self-evaluation. And then on every Sunday, I talk to Lisa and I say, hey, this is what's gone really well this week. This is what didn't go really well this week. And I need to work on these things. And she kind of gives me some advice and we talk about her week. And it's it's been amazing, and I love it.
That is amazing.
Yeah, and so all of the retreat that we just had here is based on this. So we had a group of a wonderful 12 women, and we walked them through the questions. We had a little timer. We had them think about it ahead of time. They came together, they met each other. Everybody vibed so well. It was so amazing. And then we did these little sprints of these questions, and then we'd go hike, and we'd do yoga, and we'd get a massage, and we did a sound bath, and then we'd come back together. We'd do a little more questions. We'd share them around the table. It was absolutely amazing. So
I have to touch on this because if people are listening to the retreat that you held on your property and they want something similar, this is why we're here, is to show them this. And when Ken and I showed up, because it's in our future, I was like, oh my God, we just literally stepped into what could be.
Yeah.
yeah.
So the manifestation retreat.
Yeah, you brought the energy with you.
Totally. And you're injecting it into us. So it's the perfect space because, I mean, what is the mountain that's right on the lake? Is that Chimney Mountain?
No, so on the lake, as you look out, are Humphrey Mountains is what they call it. It's 2 twin peaks.
Yep.
And it looks so amazing. And then off to your left-hand side, as you look at the lake, is Chimney Mountain. So you can actually see there's this geological rock formation that's absolutely amazing. And it pops out the side of the mountain, and it looks like a chimney, which is why they call it a chimney. And then there's actually a summit, like a nice rock summit on the back, where you can get a 360 view of all the mountains in the area. So you can see the high peaks, you can see Snowy Mountain,
Wow.
You can see downtown Indian Lake and Adirondack Lake. It's amazing. So, and then we have a cool mountain behind us called Bullard Mountain, and it has ledges, and you can go up there and you can see a straight shot of Kings Flow Lake. And I like to go up there in the morning. You can see the fog come off the lake, and it's just absolutely beautiful. So there's lots of exploring, lots of options.
Has living here changed? Has it brought you down a few notches because it's so quiet and peaceful?
Yes, absolutely. I always say, like, a weight gets lifted off your shoulders when you come here, because it's nature for as far as you can see, and it's water and mountains, and the sky is so bright, and at night when the stars are so vivid, and it reminds you of, how wonderful it is and how awesome it is to be in nature, and then also like how small you are as part of this picture.
I was just going to say that, how small we are.
Yes. Yeah. But in a good way.
Right,
so
right.
It grounds you a lot. Yes, I would say so.
Ken, we have a vision about the Adirondacks.
Yep. Yeah, we do.
What's your vision?
Looking to, there you go.
Thank you.
Looking to get a cabin, to build a cabin. And you had talked about a vision about being able to be up in elevation and being able to look over a valley with the cabin and just being able to go out and have coffee and look. And it's like, I can visualize, I can picture we've all seen pictures of this. And I think, that's our vision, and it's going to happen, right?
Absolutely, it's going to happen. It's going to happen now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, now we've recorded it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and just coming out here and just being here, it's like, this is just it.
Yeah.
This is it. Yeah.
I think what Ken and I are experiencing as a couple, and I'm hearing it based on what you experienced with your husband, is when you step into the possibility, whether you write it down or not, which is huge when you do write it down, is the possibilities are there. And I think too many people in life, you speak of living small, we think our life is small and we stay small. And no matter how old you are or where you are in this journey, you have the opportunity to live the way you want to live intentionally, which is exactly what we're doing. This is not our first rodeo.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? We're in our 50s and 60s, and we're like, we have these great ideas, we have expectations, but we talk about them. What I loved was when you and I were talking in the kitchen, you said you and Tim had tea time. That's how it's, we had morning coffee.
Yeah, we called it, when we were first doing this, I'm like, I just want to stay connected. I want to talk either in the morning or make time during the day where we actually just have conversations. Because we had, both of our sons, and it can be all about work, and it can be all about the kids. And, but I think it's important to be, still connecting one-on-one with your partner. So we ended up, calling it tea time. We would They'd change out the teas that we tasted, similar to what you guys do with the coffees.
Yeah.
But yeah, just make it a little bit of fun, and we would connect, and that really worked really well for us. And we don't necessarily do the tea time anymore, but we do, connect in the morning when we look at the calendar for our cabins, and we make sure that we're on the same page. And then again at night, or I usually say, what were you able to get done today? And then that triggers the conversation about, the business, and we can talk about things that, him and I are responsible for, and just make sure that we're connecting.
Yep.
You said intimacy. A lot of people misunderstand intimacy. There's intimacy in those conversations. There's intimacy in financial conversations.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think I told you when we were first on the journey, one of the biggest things that we disagreed about was our financials and money. And one of the first things that I had in the book was to pay off debt that we had. And that triggered a whole conversation about, what do you want to do when you retire?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you asking me these questions? I don't know what I want to do when I retire. And I was like, I want to be on the same page. I want to know what gives you energy. I want to know what motivates you. And having that conversation led to, we went to a financial advisor together, which was very hard because there's a lot of deep questions that are asked. But again, you get deeper connected because you learn what the other person wants. And then you start to envision your goal with their goal together. And you say, how do we merge these so that we can both be happy and live together? And by the way, that's an awesome idea. And my goal's so much better with your goal on top of it, or our goals together.
Well said. That is so important to share with your partner. Financial intimacy, people aren't aware of it.
Yeah. And it opens things up in the bedroom.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. So we've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah.
Before we kick out, what advice do you have to anyone, because you're doing it, who wants to do something with their partner in a business sense?
I would say do it. Don't put barriers in your way. Every problem can be solved, especially together with your partner. And then what I would also say is be willing to have those deep conversations when it begins, because the culture that you build within your relationship and within your team, it carries through into your business. People can feel if there's tension. They can feel if it's not right. That emotional vibration. They feel that when there's the conversations that haven't been had. And when you do have the conversations, and how smooth and easy and fun it feels, and that translates to your guests or your customers, is just a game changer for any business, I believe. Right? And it is continuous work. It's not just one conversation. It's many conversations that are iterative over and over again until you get it right. And we don't always get it right, and that's okay.
Yep.
So that's what I would say.
What's your ideal vision here? I mean, I know you had the retreat, and you do have families that come here, that have come here for decades.
Yeah. Well, I have a whole 5-year business plan, of course. But,
of course.
Go figure.
So I think with, some of the things that we had in our plan for year 1, year 2, year 3, we're already doing, which I love so much. But, getting that camp store up, I want to make the cabins and the surround match the environment that it's in. So when you come down here and you get that awe feeling, I want you to feel that when you walk into your cabins. I want you to feel that when you're going, when you're exploring the grounds of the property. And so just building on that, we want to do some cool murals where we have maybe some falling, chimney debris. And there's just like these little things. So fun murals. And we want to do, I have bees for honey, and we want to turn the barn into a space where we could have events. We want to have animals back because we used to have a farm. We want to do maple syrup. So there's just so many cool things that it can be an experience when you're here. And then continue to do retreats, because that was so amazing. There was so much an energy uplift, the way the women were able to connect by having those deep conversations. They immediately connected, and in like 2 days, they were best friends with each other. So continue to do that, and then just continue to create that amazing community that comes with welcoming people in, having the right energy, and then exploring who they are with them. So,
oh my gosh,
so excited.
I have so many ideas. I want to hurry up. I want to hurry up and do this so I can write in my book and talk to Ken about all these ideas and connect even further.
Can I throw one piece of history, which maybe you might not even know? I'm going to show my age.
Yeah,
I'm going to show my age.
Go for it.
Back in the 60s, it was the 60s or early 70s, the Cowsills, I don't know if anybody remembers the Cowsills, they have a song called Indian Lake. And I'm like, as soon as this happened, and so I'm like, my God, I used to listen. I think I might have even had the 45. Those were little records. I looked it up, and it was inspired by this. So if you listen to the words of Indian Lake by the Cowsills, it talks about all the nature and all the stuff. Yeah. It's just kind of funny that a little piece of history for you can throw out there.
I love it. And I love this town. And not only this space, but the people in the town. It definitely has that small town warm welcome. So I could not be more happy, not only moving here, but integrating into the community here as well. Yeah.
Well, just speaking on manifestation before we wrap things up, the fact that we're here, the fact that we've been talking about building a cabin, eventually moving into a space of retreat, I'm like, this is the universe delivering. And this is not coincidence by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, I love it. I love it so much.
Is there anything you want to add? A point you want to make? Something we should have asked you and we didn't?
I think you asked everything, but what I would say is just keep going. It's like keep digging, keep going, manifest your destination. And where do you want to go? It is possible. I always tell my kids everything's possible. So what do you want to do? Just name it, and then just start living in the energy.
Pretty sure we're sitting next to a powerhouse.
Right?
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
This is the most intimate threesome we've ever had. Cheers. Thank you so much.
I love it. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Friends, this is definitely a place you want to dig into. If you want to retreat, if you just want to disappear on your own, you've had people come up here solo or with someone you care about very, very deeply. As always, we're grateful that you've joined us. And Ken, what are we doing next time? What are we talking about next time? It's kind of in line with what Davanna and Tim do. We are talking about how we're able to leverage and talk about swapping the energies when needed.
Yep, exactly.
So talking to you before we actually recorded the podcast, we got so excited we came in here last night talking. And this is what we are doing right now is when there's something I don't want to take the lead in, but I have the knowledge because it's my, what is this?
Domain of expertise.
Domain of expertise.
Yep.
I will share that knowledge with him, but then say, this is eventually a piece that I want you to take as you continue to lead. So this is really, I think it's super important as people grow.
I'm going to have to listen to that one.
I think you're going to love it. Yeah, because
absolutely.
It's not wrong provided you're not in the wounded states and you're willing. I want my man to lead and he wants to lead and I want to be led. But as you are, it's so interesting, and I want to follow up with you some other time.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to step up with that knowledge. We share it with our partner.
Yeah.
And then you decide who's going to take that information as you grow.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's where that ego, takes the back seat. I know what I don't know. And when it's time to hand over the baton, go for it. And then, I'll learn and we can swap them around. Yeah, it works well.
I'll give that baton back to you.
Yeah.
I think it's very valuable, and I think it's important to share too.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun conversation.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it then.
Yeah.
One more cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.